Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Hey there, readers. Today, I want to share with you one of the most peculiar and shocking experiences of my life. My quiet, ordinary existence was completely upended by a strange concept called a swingers club, which fundamentally shook up my relationship with my wife, Mia. What kind of events unfolded as we stepped into a world we'd never even imagined? And what conclusions did we ultimately reach about each other after all of it? This isn't just a story of deviation. It's a raw, unflinching look at what happens when conventional boundaries dissolve and the very foundation of US is questioned. Prepare yourself, for by the end, you may find yourself asking the same unsettling questions I still grapple with. I'm Jake, 42, and my wife, Mia, is 40. We have two elementary school-aged kids, a son named Josh and a daughter named Emma. It sounds nice to say our family of four lives a peaceful daily life, but recently, physical intimacy between Mia and me has almost vanished. For the first few years of our marriage, we were so busy with childcare that I often fell asleep while taking care of the kids at night. Even after they grew a bit and needed less hands-on care, somehow the old passion never returned. We've been living almost without any intimacy. Some people around us say that's normal for couples with two elementary school-aged kids, and our family life isn't bad, really. On weekends, we all go shopping together or have barbecues with our kids' friends' families, so we do have our share of activities. But when night falls, a time when couples could have intimate moments, we've increasingly found ourselves retreating to our separate rooms. The quiet acceptance of our separate nights. Not at me. Yet I felt a sense of loneliness deep down. As a man in his early 40s, my physical desires hadn't completely vanished, and the lack of intimate nights with Mia left me frustrated. Her thoughts remained a mystery to me. Looking back, Mia and I met at a company dinner. Mia was a junior colleague from a different department, hardworking but with a slight clumsiness that I found charming. In my mid-20s at the time, I found myself inexplicably drawn to her and started to notice her. We began dating naturally, going out for meals and having fun together. The moment I decided to marry her was when Mia innocently told me, "Let's be together no matter what happens." Neither of us was flashy, but I felt we could build a warm home together. So we quickly registered our marriage and held a wedding ceremony, blessed by our friends and family. Soon after, our eldest son, Josh, was born, and 2 years later, our daughter, Emma, arrived. During the childcare years, we were incredibly busy and didn't have much time just for us as a couple, but I think we still managed to have a good time at night, in our own way. However, at some point, as our children grew, our intimate nights dwindled proportionally. Well, maybe that's just how it is, I thought, but when it practically hit zero, a fundamental conflict arose. Is this really okay? Now that both kids are in elementary school, things have finally settled down a bit, and we can have time just for us as a couple, but somehow, our intimate nights haven't returned. I was confused, wondering if we were consciously avoiding each other or simply unaware of the disconnect. When the kids were little, childcare was hard, and nights were chaotic, so I thought it was unavoidable. However, I had secretly hoped that as the children grew, our intimate nights as a couple would naturally revive. But reality was different. Our family's routine had become fixed. Mia wakes up at 5:30 every morning to prepare lunchboxes and see the kids off, works part-time during the day, and returns in the evening. By 9 or 10 p.m., she's either asleep with the kids or falls asleep on the sofa while watching TV in the living room. I often work late, and by the time I get home, Mia is already in bed. Even if she's awake, she just says, "I'm tired, good night," and immediately drifts off. Naturally, our conversations have lessened, and we no longer even hold hands. Habits like buying each other gifts for birthdays have also disappeared somewhere along the way. But as a family, we were functional. The kids grew up healthy, and we all went out together on weekends. So, while I continued to wonder if this was sustainable, I found myself experiencing more and more nights where I couldn't control my masculine desires, still strong in my early 40s. One night, after the kids were all asleep, Mia and I had a rare opportunity to drink together. Normally, after dinner, we'd both be busy with chores or preparing for the next day, so it was rare for us to share a drink. But that night, the kids were tired from a school event and went to bed early, and I also had the next day off. As the alcohol started to set in, I suddenly blurted out, "Lately, we haven't had that as a couple, have we?" Mia looked surprised for a moment, then gave a wry smile and replied, "We're busy every day. I'm perfectly happy." I sensed that for her, the well-being of our family and the tranquility of our daily lives eclipsed any desire for physical intimacy. "Oh, okay," I mumbled, downing the rest of my beer. Inside, I stifled a cry of, "But I'm still not withered as a man." Mia stood up to wash the dishes and mumbled softly from behind, "Sorry if you're not satisfied." But her voice was drowned out by the sound of the water, so I couldn't quite grasp what she meant. The following night, the kids again went to bed early, so I prepared whiskey and sat at the table with Mia. Wanting to have a deeper conversation, I started, "Hey, are we really okay like this?" Mia looked troubled and replied, "I don't have any complaints. The kids are healthy, we have no financial issues, and that's enough for me." Essentially, she was saying it was okay without physical intimacy. Indeed, she might feel a sense of happiness and stability as a mother. "No, I know that, but sometimes I feel lonely. I wanted to hear what you think, Mia." I confessed my honest feelings. Mia fell silent, and after a moment, she squeezed out, "I'm sorry, I just don't feel like that anymore." I wanted to press her, wondering if there was a reason, but the conversation ended there, and we sat on the sofa, silently drinking whiskey. One day, burdened by such frustration, I had a chance to drink with my colleague, Kevin, at work. In a moment of drunken honesty, I blurted out, "Our intimate nights as a couple are completely gone now." To my surprise, Kevin began to talk about something unexpected. "I heard about something called a swingers club. The idea is that couples swap partners and have relations. Surprisingly, it's rumored to help overcome relationship ruts." At first, I scoffed, thinking, "That's ridiculous." But Kevin, with a serious look, continued, "No, it's real. I heard there are quite a few people organizing members on social media." Gradually, my curiosity was piqued. The strange world of couples swapping partners by mutual agreement, without betrayal or guilt, initially sounded absurd. But that night, I couldn't sleep and found myself thinking about it extensively. A few days later, while browsing the internet at home, I impulsively searched keywords like swingers club. Shady information and testimonials were scattered everywhere. Some stories seemed like wild lies, but it appeared there were actually people involved. This really exists. I was surprised, yet the phrases "overcome relationship ruts" and "rekindle marriage" stuck in my mind. It seemed a certain number of couples were indeed trying it. I felt a strange curiosity, but deep down, I chastised myself. But Mia would never agree to that. Yet, despite my doubts, one night, after the kids were asleep, I bravely decided to talk to Mia about it. "What do you think about something like this?" I asked, telling her about the existence of swingers clubs. Mia initially expected to hear an immediate, "What is that? That's disgusting." But to my surprise, she mumbled, "But if you want to, I won't stop you. I mean, I'm all ready." I asked, "Huh? Are you going?" Mia replied, looking a little tired, "I'm not particularly interested, but if it would satisfy you, I might go with you." Her words actually saddened me, as if her indifference towards our intimacy was confirmed. This feeling, a mixture of resignation and a desperate hope, drove me forward. I suggested, "Well, then, let's at least check it out," and I ended up joining the club. Soon after, I connected with the people from this group, known as a swingers club, and they told me they were planning a resort trip. The participants were 5 couples, and the detailed activities were kept vague, promising to reveal them once we met. Still, if I was going to try it, this trip seemed like the perfect opportunity. I hesitated, but when I told Mia, She calmly said, "It's fine. It's just a 3-day, 2-night trip, right? We can leave the kids with my parents." When I asked our children, "Do you want to sleep over at Grandma's house?" they excitedly replied, "Yay. We get to see our cousins." And so, our family schedule was set, and my wife and I decided to participate in that resort trip together. As I prepared, I kept asking myself, is it really okay to do something like this? The absence of intimacy with Mia was already painful enough, but imagining her with another man made my heart ache. Yet, at the same time, I couldn't deny a certain expectation of being with someone else. With these complex emotions swirling, the day of the trip arrived. On the day of the trip, we gathered at the airport, where a few couples were already assembled. We had seen each other's faces briefly on social media, but this was our first time meeting and greeting in person. Most were in their 30s and 40s, appearing to be ordinary working couples. We split into cars and headed to the resort. Along the way, as we chatted, the conversation naturally drifted to marital relations, with people confessing, "Our marriage is already in a rut." Mia wore an ambiguous smile, but I couldn't read her true feelings. I was also nervous, half believing, half doubting. Are these people really into partner swapping? But as I listened, some people said things like, "At first, I felt resistant, but it's surprisingly fun," or "Our marriage has actually improved." And it seemed to genuinely be the case. Upon arriving at the resort, we unpacked our bags and first gathered in the lobby. Chris, the leader of the club, cheerfully announced, "Everyone, it's great to have you today. Let's enjoy the sightseeing and the resort together." Normally, this would just be a regular group trip, but knowing that the purpose was partner swapping, I couldn't suppress my complex emotions. Chris then said, "First, let's decide on partners. You can get to know each other better by sightseeing together." Mia and I were surprised, exclaiming, "Huh? Already?" But the other members looked excited, as if it were the most natural thing. Through drawing lots and discussions, each pair was decided. I was paired with a woman named Sarah in her early 40s. Meanwhile, Mia was paired with Tom, a man in his late 30s. Watching the two of them happily leave, I felt a pang in my chest. Sarah was a sophisticated and beautiful woman, and walking with her wasn't bad, but the situation of leaving Mia with another man made me incredibly uneasy. But the daytime sightseeing was just that, sightseeing. Sarah and I explored the sights, drank iced coffee at a cafe, and even took pictures together. Our conversations revolved around our families and children. Sarah also openly confessed, "My husband and I aren't on bad terms, but our intimate nights have really decreased." I empathized, saying, "Same here," but still carried a complicated heart. After sightseeing, we returned to the resort lobby, where Mia's group was also gathered. The moment I saw her smiling, showing off pictures with Tom, I felt a strong surge of jealousy and my heart pounded. She has no intimate time with me, but she can laugh like that with another man? Before dinner, I took a breather in our room, and when Mia casually mentioned, "Sightseeing was really fun. Tom is an interesting guy," I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. Intellectually, I knew it was good if she was enjoying herself, but my heart ached. Dinner was served as a course meal in the banquet hall, where everyone gathered and enjoyed themselves in a lively atmosphere. Chris and the other members kept the mood light, and soon the topic of, "Let's try different partners tomorrow," came up. I smiled and agreed, but inwardly I was anxious and couldn't fully enjoy the meal. That night, we planned to have another drink in our room, but Chris, the leader, suggested, "Since there's a couple's spa, let's all go together." It seemed he had intentionally chosen a resort with a couple's spa in mind from the start. He said that was the real thrill of this club. Everyone put on their swimsuits and headed to the couple's spa. The sight of 8 men and women entering a large jet spa together was quite surreal. At first, it was embarrassing, but with the help of alcohol, everyone was laughing. Then Chris excitedly declared, "All right, let's do the partner swap here. It's great to do it in the spa, really gets the mood going." And so, we proceeded to engage in intimacy with our initially assigned partners. Honestly, I was stunned speechless, never imagining it would actually happen right there. Mia was already next to Tom, and I saw him with his arm around her shoulder. The moment I saw them embracing through the mist, I felt an indescribable, intense jealousy and a tearing pain in my chest. Yet, the atmosphere around them was clearly set for it. One by one, couples began their acts. Even as my eyes involuntarily sought Mia through the steam, my body betrayed me, igniting under Sarah's touch. The spa was enveloped in warm water and the darkness of night, with many secluded corners and seating areas. As Sarah and I quietly began, a few meters away, I could see Mia leaning into Tom. Although everyone was wearing swimsuits, the sight of them together looked so much like a newlywed couple that I felt my heart pound with a strange sensation. Sarah whispered, "Are you okay? Are you perhaps jealous?" as she gently grazed my neck with her lips. I was startled by the soft skin of a woman who wasn't Mia, but my entire body soon reacted to her touch, heating up. "Huh? No." Sarah smiled faintly and said, "Heh, it's okay. You'll get used to it quickly." I was like that at first too. Then, her hand gently stroked my thigh, before her fingers expertly closed around me, a shock of heat rippling through my body that instantly eclipsed my fleeting concern for Mia. Sarah said, "How about this? Does this still bother you?" as she carefully, but skillfully, began to caress me, varying the pressure. Her smooth, voluptuous touch struck my heart, and I couldn't stop my body's reaction. Waves of pleasure swept over me, and a dizzying excitement washed through me. But even in that state, to my regret, half of my mind was focused on Mia. It was awkward if our eyes met, but I couldn't help but glance over. Mia was moaning softly, looking at Tom with an indescribably troubled expression, giving herself over to him and consumed by the moment. To witness such a scene, even though I had initiated it, was more tormenting than I could have imagined. Yet, my body instinctively responded to Sarah. The warmth of the spa water and Sarah's expert technique made my head swim and felt as if I was melting. And when Sarah, glistening from the water, climbed onto me, who was lying down, her wet skin slick against mine as she slowly, deliberately, lowered herself onto me, taking me inside her. Sarah's smooth legs wrapped around my waist, and as our hot, moist skin met, I trembled with uncontrollable excitement. Ugh! A suppressed groan escaped me. Before I knew it, I was completely engrossed in Sarah, moving intensely. Sarah's loud moans echoed as they reached multiple climaxes. Her entire body was pressed against mine, and her hot breath tickled my ear. Around us, the people I had spoken to so casually during the day were now intertwined. This bizarre sight numbed my senses. In the corner of my eye, Mia was also engaged in similar acts. Jealousy and arousal intertwined, making it impossible to tell one from the other. And after our act, we caught our breath and returned to our respective rooms. Back in our room, Mia had already returned, showered, and was in bed. Mia murmured, "Sorry, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep now," and immediately drifted off. I, still somewhat in a daze, poured myself a beer and drank it while gazing at the night sky. The next morning, Mia avoided my gaze, simply saying, "Good morning." Last night felt like a dream, but indeed, the partner swap had happened. That afternoon, the group went sightseeing again, and at the urging of Kevin and Chris, the topic of "shall we try different partners today?" came up. In the midst of this, I was paired with a stunning woman named Amelia. Amelia was in her mid-30s, with a perfectly sculpted body and captivating eyes. Her thin summer dress barely concealed the captivating curves of her body, drawing my gaze irresistibly. Mia seemed to be enjoying a walk with another man. My heart ached just watching them, and I had no desire for sightseeing, but Amelia's kind words brought a faint smile to my face. Amelia was a truly attractive woman. However, my mind was so consumed by last night's events that I couldn't genuinely enjoy my time with her. She seemed to notice, saying, "Don't push yourself. It's your first time with the swap, so you must be flustered, right?" showing her understanding. The atmosphere for partners swapping continued into the next night as well. I was paired with Amelia. At the evening banquet, as I listened to others encouraging, "Shall we go to the spa again tonight? Or we can do it in our rooms. It's up to each pair." I couldn't help but feel a growing numbness. Thinking about being with Amelia that night, there was a part of me that felt anticipation, but the thought of Mia with another man instantly made me want to go home, overwhelmed by confusion. However, I was swept up in the club's atmosphere and felt unable to refuse. Mia laughed happily with a new man and headed to the spa. The image of Mia from the previous night flashed through my mind. Jealousy flared up again. Filled with resentment, I was led to a room by Amelia's hand. But half of my mind was consumed by the image of Mia in another man's arms, filled with self-loathing, regret, and anxiety. I can't believe I wanted something like this. Once in the room, Amelia showed consideration for me, who was emotionally drained by jealousy, and treated me kindly. She poured me a drink, and we slowly drank together, enjoying conversation about men. Amelia was a cheerful person, listening to my stories with a bright smile. Despite her loveliness, perhaps due to the alcohol, Amelia began to let her guard down, and her thin, silken sleepwear hinting at the generous curves beneath, an undeniable invitation that stirred a deep ache within me. I swallowed, imagining what would come next. Then Amelia said, "Shall we watch some TV?" and leaned forward to grab the remote control in front of me. At that moment, Amelia's full, hardened breasts were clearly visible right before my eyes. I couldn't hold back any longer. I pulled her face to mine, capturing her lips in a desperate, hungry kiss. Her mouth was soft, warm, tasting of sweet liquor that drowned out all reason. MMM. Amelia gasped in surprise, letting out a hot breath. And I led Amelia to the bed, deepening our kiss. Amelia's silky, smooth skin emitted an intoxicating scent, further intensifying my arousal. I reached out and carefully explored the curves of Amelia's body. Each time my fingertips brushed her soft skin, a shiver ran through me. Amelia frowned and looked up at me with tear-filled eyes, pleading desperately, "More, Jake, more." Her voice was hot, making my heart pound wildly. Unable to control myself, I pushed even more fiercely. My hands trembled as I shed Amelia's clothes, each piece falling away to reveal a perfectly sculpted form that stole my breath. Her body was a masterpiece, glistening in the soft light. Our heated, aroused bodies met, then fused, engaging in a primal rhythm that quickly escalated into a fervent, unstoppable dance. Every thrust, every moan, was a testament to the raw hunger between us. Amelia, in the throes of climax, was utterly magnificent. Her body arched, a living sculpture in the dim light, while the soft cascade of her hair against my cheek released an intoxicating scent that spun my head. Her cries were not just sound, but pure, unadulterated pleasure. Her touch was expert and stimulating, drawing me into the depths of pleasure. "How is it, Jake? Do you like it?" She repeatedly looked up and asked, making it difficult for me to keep my senses. And finally, we became one, reaching climax together in a torrent of intense pleasure. A tremor, like every cell in my body exploding, dominated the moment of orgasm, and Amelia's ecstatic moans and my ragged breaths filled the room. But once it was over, I couldn't help but wonder, what is Mia doing in the spa right now? On the last day, we checked out of the resort, took group photos, bought souvenirs, and then parted ways. As Mia and I drove home, we were almost completely silent the entire way. We arrived home that night, still unsure of what the other was thinking. The kids seemed to have had a great time at my parents' house, innocently greeting us with "Mommy, Daddy, welcome home." While their smiles brought a sense of relief, a dull, persistent ache settled deep in my core. Mia and I acted as usual, doing chores. But throughout, I felt a pervasive anxiety. That night, after the kids were asleep and only Mia and I were left in the living room, in a surge of raw desperation, I pulled Mia into a fierce embrace, burying my face in her hair. "I'm so sorry," I choked out, The words ripped from a place deep inside me. I still love you. God, I still love you. Mia was momentarily surprised and seemed as if she might resist, but somehow she weakly leaned into me, murmuring, "You idiot, aren't you?" I couldn't say anything more. I just held her desperately. The jealousy and regret I had felt during the partner swap exploded, intensifying my affection and possessiveness. Mia quietly said, "It's too late for this now," burying her face, and for a while, neither of us moved. This was the conclusion of Mia's and my strange resort partner swap experience. Whether we will return to the club or if this will be a turning point for our marriage to restart is still uncertain, as it depends on Mia's will. However, one thing is clear. This experience, far from a mere deviation, served as a seismic shift in our marriage, irrevocably altering our perception of each other and solidifying a bond one now know I could never live without, a bond that might, against all odds, be stronger than ever.